I feel the spirit moving in me. I feel the spirit moving in me.
Aloha! Welcome to Unity Church of Maui's Father's Day Sunday service. Happy Father's Day. In northeast India is the hilly state of Meghalaya. And Meghalaya, because of its location and topography, has huge monsoons that move through there and bring huge tides and water, and it's been a huge problem for many generations. And centuries ago, the villagers found a solution to be able to cross these incredible rivers when there was a monsoon. And what they did was they grew strangler fig trees on both sides of the river. And then as the fig trees grew, they took the roots and they bound them together. And over generations, they created a bridge that they could cross. And that the know-how to create these bridges had to happen over generations. So there was an ongoing education and an ongoing effort to build these phenomenal bridges that allowed the villagers to move back and forth to carry their wares and their knowledge and their community and their ability to live together. We too can create bridges in our lives. When we work side by side, we can harvest the energy of love and light that is with us, and we too can create bridges that will last generations. And right now, we are living in two pandemics. We have the COVID-19 pandemic, and we also have a pandemic of racism and prejudice that is rampant in our country and in the world. You know, recent events have brought the subject of race as a topic that's being discussed all around the world. And it's created a frenzy on social media, and it's created demonstrations where people from all over are demonstrating and standing for a new way of being, for a new way of acceptance, for a race or a time where there's no racism. And there's a great movement happening right now to usher in a new acceptance and a new way of being. And we get the opportunity to cross this bridge and to be bridge builders for a new way of living and being in the United States and in the world. You know, it is my prayer that we become bridges, that we, in this time of 2020, that we can embrace a new way of being with each other, a new idea of inclusion, and a new way of ridding discrimination and prejudice from our lives and from our world. Angela Davis said, "In a racist society, it's not enough to be non-racist. We need to be anti-racist." Wow, what a concept. Imagine that we have that so much in our consciousness that we refuse to allow racism to exist. So this Father's Day talk is a way of honoring our fathers, of remembering our fatherly parents, and to remember that our fathers did the best that they could, and to love and respect them and remember them for their efforts. And it's also to celebrate fathers on this day, and the fatherly beingness is about focus. It's about direction. It's about having a goal and celebrating with the family and moving this family unit forward in love and in peace. And to kind of hold that as our example of what we too can be as expressions of fathers, whether we're male or female. Today's talk is titled fatherly bridges against discrimination. And I'm going to talk about 3 men today who were bridges against discrimination. They were bridges for inclusion. And these men didn't complete the job. They started the bridge. They continued the bridge. And so we'll look at how can we, in 2020, take the work that they've started and to go further with it and to build even stronger and bridges that will hold us steady and the generations to come. So the first bridge builder that I'd like to talk about today is Frederick Douglass. You might remember that Frederick Douglass, and I'm thinking, well, when did I learn about Frederick Douglass? I think it was in elementary school, but I'm not sure. But you might remember that he was born a slave. In fact, he never even knew his father. His assumption was, and people told him that his father was probably white, and he also only saw his mother a few times in his life. And he was a slave, of course, and at one point in his life, he was taken to his master's son-in-law in Baltimore, Mr. and Mrs. Odd. And she was a cheerful woman, Mrs. Odd was, and she taught him the alphabet. And it's interesting that when her husband found out about it, he stopped any further education of Frederick Douglass. But Frederick Douglass took those seeds and he was so excited about education. And he knew that if he became educated, that he could find freedom. And he was determined to do all that he could. He became friends with some white boys in the town, and they taught him what they had learned in school. So he became just like so motivated to learn and to be all that he could be. And he became a person who fought for the rights of other people, and he believed strongly that he was a bridge to teach others. And one of the things that I liked the best about Frederick Douglass is that he believed that people can change their future, that people can improve their lives, as he did with education. In fact, he believed that it is everyone's duty to improve their lives, to improve society and humanity as a whole. He also taught and believed, and the lesson that we can get from him is that when we restrain someone else, we restrain ourselves. He said, "No man can put a chain about the ankle of his fellow man without at last finding the other end fastened around his own neck." Wow. So it's like when we try and hold people down or suppress people, indeed we put restraints around our own neck. It makes me think that, what if we would have encouraged these people that were slaves to be the best that they could be, maybe our whole society would be in a different place. When we restrain others, it restrains part of ourselves. Martin Luther King was also a bridge against discrimination. He was an American Christian minister who became the most visible spokesperson and leader in the civil rights movement until his assassination in 1968. Martin Luther King was a bridge who taught us perseverance, the ability to hang on and to continue. You might remember that Martin Luther King was arrested over 20 times. Martin Luther King saw his house bombed and burned. At one point he was stabbed. And he had many failures in his life, but he believed that human beings have that nature to be able to hang on and persevere. He said, if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. And isn't that what we're called to do right now? In the presence of blatant racism and bigotry that's happening in our country, aren't you called to move forward and to keep this momentum moving of liberation and freedom? Martin Luther King also taught us about forgiveness, and he was a bridge of forgiveness. He said, we must develop and maintain our capacity to forgive. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love. Gosh, I just love that so much. You know, I like to think that we can only love to the extent that we can forgive. Because if we're holding on to grudges or hatred, then it's like it cuts off the vessel or the light of spirit that wants to move through us with love. So we block our own flow of love if we don't forgive. Wow. The power to forgive is dependent on, the power to love is dependent on our power to forgive. Nelson Mandela was also a bridge for inclusion. You know, he was an African anti-apartheid revolutionary, political leader, philanthropist, who served as president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. And he was an amazing model and bridge for us. And one of the things that I've gleaned from studying his life is that he said that we cannot be a victim of our past. You know, he spent 27 years in jail for resisting apartheid. And he said, we don't have to be victims of our past. We can let go of our bitterness. And all of us can achieve greatness. Isn't that amazing? You know, he had all the reasons in the world to feel like he was a victim. But instead he rose up out of this time in jail and came forward to be a great model and a bridge to remind us that we don't have to hang on to the past. Certainly, all of us have been hurt in some way by events of the past, things that we've done or said, or things that happened to us that somebody else did to us. But we need to let go of that. He's a great example of saying, just don't hold on to that. Stand in the freedom and the love that you have right now. That's where your power is. And Nelson Mandela was also a bridge to teach us that love always wins. He wrote, no one is born hating another person because of the color of their skin or her background or his religion. People must learn to hate. And if they can learn hate, then they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. You know, Mandela could have chosen to be angry. He could have chosen to have hateful feelings towards those who imprisoned him. But instead he found that place of love in his heart where he was able to be that bridge and to teach love and to teach peace and to to be a bridge for us to remember that we too are here to love. In his 1993 Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech, here are some things that Nelson Mandela said. Let the strivings of us all prove Martin Luther King Jr. to have been correct. When he said that humanity can no longer be tragically bound to the starless midnight of racism and war, let the efforts of all of us prove that he was not a mere dreamer. When he spoke of the beauty of genuine brotherhood and peace and those things being more precious than diamonds or silver or gold. Let a new age dawn. And then he went on to say, today, we are entering a new era for our country and its people. Today, we celebrate not the victory of a party, but a victory for all people of South Africa. Wow, that's so beautiful. And today, for us, friends, we are on the brink of celebrating a new era in this country, a new place that we can be when we can come together and stand up and move forward and say, enough is enough. Let's not have any more hatred. Let's not have any more violence. Let's not have any more prejudice or discrimination. How would that feel? Imagine. How would that feel? To wake up one morning to live in a country where you weren't divided by the color of your skin. Wow. To imagine what it would be like to wake up with this worldwide pandemic of racism being over. I believe that we are the bridges for the 21st century. We are the bridges for 2020 that are here now to pick up the mantle, to pick up the roots of this bridge that these forefathers and people that went before us have begun, and to complete that bridge and to build that bridge. I like to think that we can create a world where the only thing that is separated by color is our laundry. Margaret Mead said, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only way that anything ever was changed. Martin Luther King said, the time is always right to do what is right. So what will you do? What action will you take? Frederick Douglass, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela have continued this bridge, but the bridge is not complete. We are the ones who get to pull together to continue this bridge, maybe to complete this bridge. We can gather together our focus, our fatherly aspects of focus and determination, whether we're male or female, and stand up with that clear idea, that clear intention, that we're not going to tolerate racism. We're not going to tolerate bigotry. We're not going to tolerate discrimination. And that we'll stand up for inclusion and love and power. Let us be like these incredible strangler trees, right? And bind together our roots so that we have this togetherness of strength to build this bridge of love and power and truth, and to vision a world filled with this love, and to be this love in the world, to be this idea of inclusion. To imagine healing the world. How would that feel? The time is right, and now is the time. Say that with me. The time is right, and now is the time. And so it is. Namaste. I invite you to close your eyes. Let's take a deep breath. Breathing into this moment. Feeling the love that all of these bridge builders teach us. All these divine ideas that came through them, ideas that we know are true. And I invite you to take these ideas into your heart and to feel them there. To feel the power of love, the power of truth, the power of peace. And breathe into that. To say, thank you. Thank you, Spirit, for this power that's flowing to the universe, flowing in you, flowing in me. Just hold that for a moment. And so, let our love begin. Let this work of transformation begin. Let us stand up for life, for love, for peace. Envisioning this planet filled with acceptance. Every woman, every child, every man, embracing all that they are, no longer bound by the chains of discrimination, of racism. One humanity, one people, one life. Breathing in, gently bringing your awareness back to this moment. And so it is. Amen. Namaste. Wow, thank you for being here today and for celebrating with us at Unity Church of Maui. The time is right, and the time is when? The time is now, yes. So I invite you now to prepare your love offerings and your donations to Unity Church of Maui, and to thank you for all that you give. Our ministry is totally supported by and thrives through your donations of love. And so thank you for being a part of this great work that we do, and I know and I believe that we are doing what we can to heal this planet, beginning with ourselves and sharing our love and light in the world. So as you hold in your mind your gift, or you hold it in your hand, let's affirm and pray together our affirmation of prosperity, which begins, through a grateful, giving heart, my mind and life overflow with the abundance of God's all-providing, infinite supply. And so it is. Thank you. And you can give to Unity Church of Maui by sending a check to 483 South High Street in Wailuku, in Hawaii, of course. And also by going to our website, and right on our front page, there's a cute little donate button. If you click on that, you can donate there as well. And so thank you in advance for your generosity. Let's see. Oh, I thought it'd be fun to say the daily word today, since it is Father's Day, and it's another way of celebrating the fathers in our life. So the word for today is Father's blessings. I give thanks for all expressions of fatherly love. My relationship with my father may have been positive and nurturing, or difficult and challenging. He may have been a strong presence during my childhood, or he may have been absent. We may be part of each other's lives today. We may be estranged, or he may have passed from earthly life. Whatever our circumstances, I bless my Father, and I see him enfolded in divine love. As I honor my Father, I also honor all the father figures who have helped me and guided me along my path. Family members, teachers, neighbors, clergy, employers, and friends. I bless them as I recall all the ways each one, in a unique way, has modeled strength, guidance, wisdom, and patience. Their presence reminds me, with thanks to their gifts of fatherly love. And from Proverbs 4:11, I have taught you the way of wisdom. I have led you in the paths of uprightness. So God bless our fathers. And let's see. Wonderful. You might notice behind me, we have these incredible roses that were donated by Michelle and Mike. And so thank you to both of you for these beautiful roses. We are so blessed. Michelle and Mike give us roses for Mother's Day and Father's Day. And so thank you for your gifts to us, Michelle and Mike. And, we're still not haven't made plans to reopen and do Sunday services at Unity Church of Maui. Kind of hard to imagine what that would mean if we're wearing masks and social distancing and trying to sing with masks on. And it just doesn't seem feasible right now. And it doesn't seem safe. And so we will let you know when we change our mind and decide to open and what that will look like. But thank you for supporting us in the meantime in our virtual ministry. And let's see, we have a number of ways you can connect with us on Zoom. And in fact, at 11 o'clock today, Sunday, we'll have a Zoom connection at 11. I think I might have said that already. And you can find the link to that meeting by going to our webpage and clicking on it there, or you can also tune to our newsletter and click on the link, and we'll see you there at 11 o'clock, where we will talk about this Father's Day lesson and whatever is going on with you. So please join us there. And I'd like to also invite you to join us on Wednesday at noon. We have a Zoom meeting and we read the daily word. I do, and guide us in a meditation for 30 minutes. Great time to connect during the week, and it's always wonderful to feel your heart and to see your face on Zoom. And if you enjoy our services, you can always find them on YouTube. Unity Church of Maui YouTube's page, and you can also find them on Facebook. We have something running all the time there. And this service will be live tomorrow on Facebook at 11 o'clock, Facebook Live. So I think that's it. So before any further ado, before I do anything further, let's pray together the prayer for protection, which begins, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Thank you, dear friend. Much love to you. See you soon. And mahalo.